Luna Garcia pulled the thick wool blanket up over her shoulders. Curled up on the old sofa in her 420-square-foot studio on the third floor of a red brick building on Fullerton Avenue, Lincoln Park. Outside the window, the November Chicago wind howled in gusts, carrying tiny snowflakes that smacked against the glass. The wall clock read 9:42 p.m. on a Friday, yet she was still wearing her full office outfit, white blouse, black slacks, hair in a high bun, evidence of a 12-hour day on the 58th floor of the old Willis Tower. She was about to turn off the light and go to bed when her phone buzzed. A notification from American Express flashed on the lock screen. Large transaction alert, $12,700. Royal Caribbean International, Miami FL. Card ending in 4821. The number made Luna's heart skip a beat. She opened the banking app immediately, eyes scrolling down to the detailed description. 7-night luxury Eastern Caribbean cruise. Departure, Fort Lauderdale, December 15. Passengers, Susan Garcia, Robert Garcia, Ashley Garcia. Balcony suite, 1214. Her name was not on it, not even a text asking permission, just 3 familiar names that had been bleeding her dry for 33 years. Luna sat motionless in the dark, her breath forming small white clouds. She knew she should be furious, should scream, should call the bank right now and freeze the card. But the first thing she felt wasn't anger. It was a bone-deep exhaustion, as if someone had just sucked all the air out of this tiny room. The phone rang. Mom. Luna took a deep breath and answered. Hola, Mama. Ay, Luna, you're still up? Susan's voice was syrupy sweet. Mommy just calling to say thank you. Ashley is so excited. She says the suite has its own private balcony with an amazing ocean view. Luna's knuckles went white around the phone. Mama, I just saw the charge. $12,700 on my card. A short pause, then the familiar dismissive laugh, the one Luna had known since childhood as the signal that a fight would never be fair. Ay, Luna, don't blow it out of proportion. You never go anywhere anyway. Always work, work, work. Ashley just went through a divorce. She's super stressed. The doctor said she needs a vacation ASA. And family shares me, huh? Shares? Luna repeated, her voice so small she barely recognized it. Mama, I wasn't asked. I wasn't invited. I didn't even know this trip existed until the bill showed up. You always make everything so dramatic, Susan cut in. You're a senior accountant making big money. What's a few thousand? Besides, what's yours is the family's. You're the oldest. You're supposed to sacrifice. Remember how hard Mommy and Poppy worked to raise you. Luna closed her eyes. That sentence, that same scratched record that had played on repeat for 33 years. Raise her? Susan conveniently forgot that Luna paid for her own University of Illinois tuition with money earned flipping tacos from age 16. She forgot that it was Luna who bought the 3-bedroom house in Naperville at age 29, the house where Susan, Robert, and Ashley now lived rent-free, while Luna paid the mortgage, the property taxes, and the $500+ winter heating bills. I don't have $12,700 just lying around, Mama, Luna said, trying to keep her voice even. I'm paying the house. I'm trying to save. Which house? Susan laughed loudly. The Naperville house is the family house. Poppy's back hurts too much to work. What do you want us to do, live on the street? Oh, and this cruise has an all-you-can-eat lobster buffet. Ashley says she'll post pics on Instagram for her friends to see. You should be happy for your sister. Luna felt every cell in her body slowly freezing. Not from the Chicago cold outside, but from the ice forming inside. The cold realization that she had been turned into a walking ATM for years. What day does the ship leave? She asked, her voice strangely calm. Tuesday next week from Fort Lauderdale. Ashley is packing her bikinis, so excited. Oh, Poppy says can you check if your card still has enough limit, just in case we book the dolphin swim excursion. Luna looked out the window. Snow was falling thicker now, blanketing Lincoln Park. She smiled, the first smile of the night, but not a happy one. I understand, Mama. Have a great trip, everyone. Susan sounded shocked that there was no familiar argument. Really? You're not mad anymore? Not mad anymore, Luna answered, her voice light as the wind. Really? Susan sighed in relief. That's my good girl. Okay, sleep well. Tomorrow Mommy will send you sweet pictures, okay? Love you. Luna ended the call. The dark screen reflected her face. Deep brown Mexican-American eyes that now looked colder and sharper than ever before. She opened her laptop and typed 3 words into Google. Sell house fast, Chicago. Outside, the wind still howled. Inside, something had just shattered, and at the same time, something new had been born. Luna sat on the studio floor, back against the only wardrobe, a long, cold cup of coffee in front of her. The night was deep, but she couldn't sleep. She let the memories flood in like an old film reel playing at the wrong speed, sometimes agonizingly slow, sometimes fast-forwarding until it hurt to breathe. 4 years earlier, everything had still seemed tolerable. In 2020, her father Robert had called one rainy October afternoon. His voice trembled, her mother's sobs audible in the background. Luna, mija, it's over. Crypto, Poppy thought he'd get rich quick for the whole family. Now we have nothing. The bank is foreclosing on the Berwin house. Save your parents, please. Luna remembered standing in the company hallway, lunchbox untouched in her hand. She didn't ask how much. She only asked, what time do you need to move in? 3 days later, a U-Haul pulled up to her Naperville house. Susan directed the movers like she had always owned the place. Put Mommy's Italian leather sofa in the main living room, okay? Luna's stuff can go to the garage. And the 75-inch TV goes in the master bedroom. Poppy's back keeps him up at night. Luna nodded. She always nodded. Just 6 months, she told herself. Temporary. 6 months turned into 6 brutal Chicago winters. Luna paid the $2,180 monthly mortgage, the $9,400 annual property tax, the gas bills that spiked to $680 a month because her mother kept the thermostat at 74 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. Meanwhile, she moved into the 420-square-foot Lincoln Park studio for $1,650 a month, almost her entire take-home pay. Every time she gently brought up finding a new place, the same script played. Susan got a migraine and collapsed on the Italian leather sofa. Robert clutched his back and wheezed. If Poppy moves now, he'll go straight to the hospital. Ashley texted, "You're evil. You want me and Mom and Dad on the street?" So Luna stayed quiet and kept transferring money. She vividly remembered last year's Black Friday. 3 a.m., her mother called. "Luna, Mommy and Ashley are in line at Target. Send $800 on Venmo quick. Michael Kors is 70% off and Mommy's card is maxed." Luna had been asleep. She transferred the money in 30 seconds. The next morning, Ashley posted Instagram stories. 8 handbags, boots, 2 fur coats. Caption, "Best mommy ever. Aww." Not one thank you to her sister. And Robert? He regularly borrowed money to watch the Bears, even though the team had lost for 5 straight seasons. "Just $350 for 2 tickets, mija. Poppy's depressed, needs some joy." Luna sent it. Then another $200 for stadium beer and snacks. Luna sent that too. She used to think she was strong. Until she met Daniel, the Nigerian-American software engineer from Northwestern, who cooked amazingly and called her my queen. The first time Daniel came to her house, technically her parents' house now, Susan looked him up and down like he was a delivery guy who had wandered in. "You're bringing a friend to sleep over? We have guests right now," she gestured to herself and her husband. "And who is this exactly? Mommy has never heard about him." Daniel greeted her politely. Susan responded with a tight smile and the historic line, "Well, next time give warning so Mommy can prepare. We're not used to strangers sleeping here." On the drive home that night, Daniel gently asked, "Do you ever feel like you actually live in your own house, Luna?" She couldn't answer. 2 weeks later, they broke up. Daniel said he couldn't compete with an entire family that treated him like an intruder. Luna kept transferring money. She had told herself she did it for family, because she was the eldest, because Latino culture says children take care of parents. But that night, staring at the glowing red $12,700 charge, she finally saw the simple, brutal truth. They didn't need her. They needed her bank account. Luna opened the Chase app and scrolled recent transactions. Besides the massive cruise charge, there were $326 at Ulta Beauty, definitely Ashley's makeup, $189 at Total Wine, Dad's liquor, $74 Uber Eats, Mom ordering dinner last night because she was too tired to cook. She let out a dry laugh, not because it was funny, but because she finally understood. The Naperville house was never the family house. It was her house, bought with 60-hour work weeks, sleepless nights studying for the CPA exam, vacations never taken, dates canceled, blood and tears. And they had lived there rent-free for 1,460 days. Luna stood, walked to the tiny balcony. The freezing wind slapped her face like a wake-up call. She looked down at Fullerton Avenue. Cars still moving, neon still flashing, life still going on. But inside her, something had officially died. She whispered to the Chicago night. 4 years was enough. Saturday morning, Chicago woke up to a light blizzard. Luna opened her eyes at 6:12 a.m., mind strangely clear. She had never called in sick in her 5 years as senior accountant, not once. Today, she picked up the phone and made her voice hoarse on purpose. "Hi, Margaret. It's Luna. Yeah, I think I caught something bad. Probably won't make it in today or Monday. I'll keep you posted." She hung up and felt zero guilt, only relief. Luna brewed a big French press, dragged the old stool to the window. Snow fell thick, covering Lincoln Park. She held the hot mug, watched snowflakes melt the instant they touched the glass, and let her mind drift. She remembered her mother's words from last night. What's yours is the family's. No, not anymore. It wasn't an explosion of rage, no screaming inside her head. It was a quiet, icy, crystalline moment of clarity, the kind you only get standing in the middle of a blizzard when suddenly you can hear nothing but your own heartbeat. They didn't love her. They loved what she could give them. Her high salary, her 812 credit score, the Naperville house in her name, her Amex with a $35,000 limit, her silence and endurance. Luna set the mug down and opened her laptop. She didn't cry. She worked. First, Google credit card fraud family member Illinois. She read like she used to study for the CPA exam, fast and thorough. Under the Federal Fair Credit Billing Act, she had the right to dispute unauthorized charges within 60 days. Since the booking was in her mother's name, Susan Garcia, and paid with her card without her signature or authorized user status, it was textbook unauthorized. American Express was famous for refunding quickly with clear evidence. She screenshotted the entire booking confirmation, email sent to her mother, saved last night's recorded call, opened the Amex app. In 15 minutes, she submitted a dispute for $12,700 with the reason, unauthorized charge by family member, evidence attached. Status, pending investigation, provisional credit issued. Her card balance instantly dropped to $0. Luna smirked. Step 1 complete. Next, sell house fast Naperville cash offer. She went on BiggerPockets, Zillow, then straight to the big iBuyer sites, Opendoor, OfferPad, and local investors who advertised, "We buy houses any condition." She entered the address, 2728 Fairway Drive, Naperville, IL 60564. Current estimate, $618,000. She had bought in 2019 for $412,000. Equity, over $200,000. She messaged 3 companies at once, attaching photos of the house from her last visit. Big backyard, upgraded granite kitchen, finished basement with the bar her dad bragged about. The first reply came in 4 minutes. "Hi, Luna. This is Rebecca with Windy City Home Buyers. We can offer $595,000 all cash, close in 7 to 10 days, as is, no repairs, no realtor fees. When works for you to walk through?" Luna typed back instantly. "Tuesday, 2 p.m. Current occupants are my parents. I'll tell them I'm checking the furnace." Her hands didn't shake. She didn't hesitate. Only a cold certainty spread through her body. Luna stood, grabbed a bottle of water from the fridge. She looked around her tiny studio. 1 queen bed, 1 folding table, 3 cactus plants she had nurtured since move-in day. This was where she had actually lived for the last 4 years. The 3-bedroom, 2-garage, big backyard house she had only visited like a guest. No more. She opened Google Docs, created a new file. Exit plan Luna Garcia. First line. Sell 2728 Fairway Drive. Target close before 12/23. Dispute $12,700. Done. Book solo trip somewhere warm, somewhere far. Start applying for jobs in Seattle or Austin or Denver. When they return from the cruise, the house will belong to someone else. Luna saved the file and shut the laptop. Snow still fell outside, but for the first time, she didn't feel cold. She felt free. Luna closed her eyes and let memories pull her back to Pilsen in the early 2000s, when 18th Street still smelled of grilled taco charcoal and radios blasted banda music 24/7. She was 11, clutching a straight A+ report card from Benito Juarez Academy, running home bursting with pride. The door flew open to the whole family gathered around 9-year-old Ashley in a sparkling pink dress. "Look, look! Ashley got second place in Little Miss Pilsen," Susan shouted, holding up the cheap gold-plated trophy. Robert lifted Ashley onto his shoulders and spun her around. No one looked at Luna's report card. "Yeah, cool," her mom said, eyes still on her youngest. "Put it on the top shelf so it doesn't break Ashley's trophy." Ashley's trophy took center stage on the living room shelf next to the Virgin Mary statue. Luna's report card was folded in half and stuffed into the kitchen drawer with pizza flyers. At 15, Luna worked 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. shifts at Taqueria El Pastor on Cermak and Ashland. Every week, she brought home $340 in tips, carefully stashed in a glass jar labeled "College, Do Not Touch." Her mother still borrowed $40 every grocery trip. Ashley got a cherry red Jeep Wrangler for her 18th birthday, even before she had a license. "Your sister needs a cool car for Northwestern," her mom explained when Luna asked where the money came from. That same year, Luna took the #60 bus 3 hours a day to UIC, working cafeteria cashier between classes. Ashley's quinceañera was the peak. The family spent $18,000 on a party at Crystal Gardens. Crystal-studded ball gown, 12-piece mariachi band, towering Mexican tandy table. Luna, age 20 and freshly graduated early, was invited to collect the monetary gifts. She stood at the door all night in heels, fake smiling at relatives, writing down every $50 and $100 envelope for Ashley. She still clearly remembered Thanksgiving 2022. Luna woke at 5 a.m. and drove from Lincoln Park to Naperville through snow. She brined and roasted 2 20-pound turkeys herself, handmade red and green tamales from her abuela's recipe, baked 3 pies, pumpkin, pecan, and apple. She set the long table with white linens, candles, Pinterest perfect. The family arrived at 3 p.m. Robert turned on the Bears-Lions game. Susan took selfies with Ashley in their new Black Friday outfits. Ashley brought a store-bought Costco flan and placed it center table like she had made it. During the entire meal, no one mentioned the perfect turkeys or the cranberry sauce Luna had cooked since 8 a.m. Only one sentence was repeated. "Ashley's flan is amazing. When did you learn to cook like Mommy?" Ashley really has Mommy's talent. Luna sat at the end of the table, ate a cold drumstick, and nodded with a smile. While cleaning up, her mom patted her shoulder. "Thanks for doing dishes. Mommy's hands hurt. Oh, save some leftovers for Ashley to take home. She's too skinny." Luna washed 47 plates, 28 glasses, 3 huge pans, alone, while the rest of the family sprawled on the couch watching Hallmark Christmas movies. She drove back to Lincoln Park at 1 a.m. on empty I-290, radio playing All I Want for Christmas Is You. Luna turned it off. She was done wanting. She had stopped wanting long ago. Now, sitting in her cold studio, Luna opened her old photo album on her phone. There was exactly one family picture from that Thanksgiving, her parents and Ashley beaming in front of the turkey, only half of Luna's face visible behind the carving knife. She stared at it for a long time, then pressed delete. No pain, no regret, just clean, empty space ready to be filled with something that belonged only to her. Luna stood, took the old glass jar still labeled College Do Not Touch from the highest shelf. Inside were only a few coins and a beaded bracelet Ashley had made in kindergarten. Her mother had forced her to keep it for memory. She poured everything into her palm, then dropped the coins one by one into a new savings jar labeled in thick black marker, Luna Only. Monday, December 11. The Garcia family had flown to Fort Lauderdale the day before. Ashley posted non-stop stories, poolside pineapple cocktails, caption, cruise mood activated, thanks sis, pink. Luna looked for 1 second and turned off notifications. 8 a.m., she called Rebecca, the woman who had texted over the weekend. "Hi, Rebecca, can we meet today? I want this done before my family gets back." Rebecca answered instantly, pure Chicago briskness. 11 o'clock work? I'm bringing a cash buyer couple who need a Naperville house fast for their first baby. Their offer will surprise you. 11:05 a.m., Luna parked in front of 2728 Fairway Drive. The house looked better than she remembered. New gray roof shingles from last year, freshly painted white garage doors, perfect lawn even in winter, thanks to the landscaping service she still paid monthly. A Christmas wreath still hung on the door, bought with her card last week. Rebecca waited with a young couple. The husband, tall, dark-haired, glasses, Michael Chen, software engineer at Naperville Research Park. The wife, petite, long ponytail, 5 months pregnant, Olivia, preschool teacher. Both in North Face jackets, holding hands, eyes shining at the house. "Luna, meet Michael and Olivia," Rebecca said. "They just sold their Loop condo and want more space for baby and dog." Luna smiled politely and unlocked the door. The scent of her mother's cinnamon cookie plug-in still lingered. Everything was exactly the same. Mom's Italian leather sofa dominating the living room, Dad's 75-inch TV covering the wall, huge framed photo of Ashley's quinceañera over the fireplace. Michael whispered to his wife, "Granite kitchen, huge island, I already love it." Olivia stepped into the backyard. "Enough room for a swing set and veggie garden. I thought we'd have to wait 2 more years for this neighborhood." Luna led them to the finished basement, Dad's pride and joy oak bar, theater room with real leather recliners. Olivia squealed, "Our kid will have their own movie theater." Rebecca whispered to Luna in the hallway, I ran comps. Same subdivision sold last week for $642K. They're ready to offer $650,000 cash, close in 8 days, as is, no inspection, no repairs. Luna didn't blink. I'll take it. In the kitchen, Michael and Olivia were whispering excitedly. Olivia turned. Luna, this sounds weird, but I feel good energy here. This house, it's waiting for a real family. Luna almost laughed out loud. A real family? Exactly. It was waiting. Rebecca spread the paperwork on the granite island, where her mother used to scroll TikTok for hours. Cash purchase contract. Price $650,000. Closing date December 22. Possession immediately upon recording. No contingencies, no financing, no appraisal. Luna signed fast, the same fluid signature she used on financial statements at work. Luna Sofia Garcia. Michael shook her hand. Thank you so much. We'll take great care of it. Luna nodded. I know you will. Before leaving, Olivia hugged her gently and whispered, You're doing something very brave. Luna didn't answer. She took one last look at the kitchen, where she used to wash dishes alone after every holiday, then walked out. Rebecca handed her a copy of the contract and a business card. December 22, I'll meet you at the title company on Ogden Avenue. Money wires straight to your account before Christmas. Luna slipped the card into her coat pocket. I'll be there. On the drive back to Lincoln Park, she rolled the windows down, despite the 28-degree air. The cold stung her face, but she felt warm. Her phone buzzed, text from her mom with a photo of the family boarding in Fort Lauderdale, champagne glasses raised. Susan Garcia. Boarding now, mija. Suite is gorgeous. Love you. Luna looked at the photo for 1 second, then deleted it. She cranked Latin pop, Ivy Queen's Libre, and sang at the top of her lungs the whole way home. 11 more days and the house would belong to Michael and Olivia. 11 more days and her family would come home to a locked door and a bright red sold sign in the yard. Luna smiled at her reflection in the rearview mirror. 11 days. Luna sat cross-legged on the studio floor, laptop balanced on a cardboard box as a temporary desk. Outside, it was still pitch black at 7 a.m. Tuesday. She opened the American Express app, went to Disputes and Fraud, took a deep breath, and clicked Report Unauthorized Charge. The screen flashed green. $12,700, Royal Caribbean International, 12/15/2024. Booking name, Susan Garcia, Robert Garcia, Ashley Garcia. She attached. Booking confirmation email sent to her mother. Mom's bragging text about the suite. Recording of last night's call. Illinois is a one-party consent state. She was legally allowed to record. Charge made without cardholder knowledge or consent. Booking made in name of family member Susan Garcia using my card ending 4821. I am not a passenger on this reservation. Submitted at 7:14 a.m. At 7:19 a.m., her phone buzzed. American Express Fraud Department. Ms. Garcia, we've reviewed your claim and attached evidence. A provisional credit of $12,700 has been issued to your account immediately while we complete the 10-day investigation. You will see the credit reflected within 24 hours. Luna stared, unable to believe her eyes. $12,700 had just come back as if it never left. She laughed out loud, the sound echoing in the empty room. She opened the Membership Rewards tab. Points earned from the fraudulent charge, $1,270,000. Amex gives 5x on travel. Worth over $13,000 in flights or hotels if used wisely. Luna didn't think twice. She went to Delta.com and searched flights to Hawaii leaving in December. Found one. Chicago O'Hare to Kahului, Maui, December 23, the day after closing. Comfort Plus round trip for only 68,000 points plus $11.20 taxes. Booked instantly. Next, hotels. She used the remaining 850,000 points to book a 10-night combo at 2 5-star resorts. 5 nights, Grand Wailea, Maui, Ocean View Room, Waldorf Astoria. 5 nights, Hilton Waikoloa Village, Big Island, partial ocean view. Still 300,000 points left for meals, car rental, and helicopter tours. Luna finished booking at 8:02 a.m. Screen. Congratulations! Your Hawaiian getaway is confirmed. She stared at the e-ticket in her inbox, and her hands shook. Not from fear, but from the first real excitement she had ever allowed herself to feel for choosing herself. She pictured it. Sunrise from the top of Haleakala, clouds below her feet, the sun rising crimson over the Pacific. Sitting alone on a lanai drinking Kona coffee, with no one calling to ask for house payments, gas bills, shopping money. Snorkeling Molokini, swimming with sea turtles, no need to take photos for anyone. Evening luau fire dance, hula dancing by herself if she wanted, no one judging. Luna opened her backup Chase Sapphire Card app and transferred the expected house proceeds to a brand new Ally Bank savings account titled in her name only, no joint owners, no beneficiaries. She named the account Luna Only Phase 2. Her phone buzzed nonstop, messages in the Garcia family cruise countdown group. Ashley, only 4 more days till we sail. I bought 3 new bikinis, sis. Mom, Luna, check if your cart still has limit, okay? Mama wants to add the dolphin swim in Grand Cayman. Dolphin. Dad, send Poppy $200 for duty-free liquor, okay? Poppy ran out of cash. Luna looked at the screen, then muted the conversation forever. She stood, opened her closet, and pulled out the teal Samsonite hard case suitcase she bought in 2019 and had never used because she never had time to travel. She started packing bikinis, maxi dresses, SPF 70, sunglasses, and a brand new notebook. On the first page, she wrote in bold black pen, December 23rd, 2024. Destination, Hawaii. Passenger, Luna Sofia Garcia only. Purpose, to finally live. She zipped the suitcase, set it neatly by the door like a declaration. 11:30 a.m. that same day, email from the title company. Closing appointment confirmed, December 22nd, 10 a.m. Expected net proceeds to seller, $618,426.88 after mortgage payoff and fees. Luna changed her return flight to the evening of 12/22 so she could close in the morning and fly straight from O'Hare to Maui that night. She had nothing left to pack. Everything she needed for her new life now fit inside one 24-ish suitcase and a bank account that belonged only to her. Luna stood in front of the tiny bathroom mirror and looked herself dead in the eye. From now on, she said clearly, I choose me. Then she turned off the lights, locked the studio door, and walked out into the hallway. The Chicago wind was still freezing, but inside her chest, a Hawaiian fire was already burning bright. December 23rd, 2024. Chicago was digging out from the season's first blizzard, temperature 9 degrees Fahrenheit. Luna had been at O'Hare since 4 p.m., teal suitcase checked, Maui boarding pass on her phone. She sat at gate G4, drinking her first Kona coffee of the new life when she finally turned her phone off airplane mode. In 15 seconds, the screen flooded. 37 missed calls, 21 voicemails, 89 iMessages, all from Garcia Family Group. Luna plugged in AirPods and played the first voicemail, time-stamped 13:42. Susan's voice, panicked and hoarse. Luna, mija, there are people in the house. A young couple is moving stuff in. They say they bought it. When did we sell the house? What did you do? Call me right now. Second voicemail, 13:49, Robert, trembling. Luna, police are here, mija. They say it's not our house anymore. Poppy is standing in the street. It's so cold. Please call. Third, 13:53, Ashley screaming. Are you insane, Luna? You sold the house without telling anyone? You're putting Mom and Dad and me on the street? I hate you. Luna scrolled and listened to a few more. The later ones grew more frantic. Mom, sobbing. Mommy has nowhere to sleep tonight. Hotels want $289. Dad, the emergency card you gave Poppy got declined. You froze it, didn't you? Ashley, you paid for the cruise, then kicked us out? You're evil, Luna. Luna stopped at voicemail number 11, 1427, her mother's voice now barely a whisper. Luna, you're my daughter. How could you do this to your parents? She stopped playback. Not a single tear. Only a strange lightness. In her mind, she could see the scene in Naperville perfectly. Michael and Olivia's Ram 3500 moving truck parked out front, bright red "Sold" sign staked in the snowy lawn. Michael carrying boxes of baby toys into the second bedroom, formerly Dad's man cave. Olivia standing in the kitchen, hand on her pregnant belly, smiling at the locksmith changing the locks. Naperville police had surely arrived after her mom dialed 911, screaming about home invasion. The officer only needed to see the recorded deed and purchase contract. Ma'am, this is now the legal property of the new owners. You need to vacate immediately. Luna pictured her father standing on Fairway Drive, Ashley's Louis Vuitton cruise luggage dumped in the snow, her mother clutching a fur coat with nowhere to go. She opened iMessage one last time and typed a single message to the family group. The house has been in my name since 2019. I paid the mortgage, taxes, and every bill for 4 years. You lived there rent-free for 1,460 days. You used my card without permission for a $12,700 vacation I wasn't even invited to. I'm done being your ATM. Do not contact me again. Sent. Then she blocked every number. Mom, Dad, Ashley. Blocked their emails, Instagram, Facebook, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle. Done. Luna powered the phone completely off and slipped it into her bag. The gate agent began boarding. Flight DL1427, nonstop service to Kahului, Maui, now boarding all rows, all passengers. She stood, pulled her carry-on, and walked toward the jet bridge. Everyone around her was laughing, hugging, wishing each other Merry Christmas. Luna had no one to see her off. But she had never felt more welcomed. As the plane took off, she looked out the window. Chicago shrinking beneath a blanket of snow. Highways jammed with people rushing home for the holidays. Houses glowing warm. She whispered to the city that had imprisoned her for 33 years. Goodbye. The plane banked west. 5 hours of flight, then the Emerald Pacific, then Maui, then freedom. In her coat pocket, her phone stayed perfectly silent. Luna closed her eyes, smiled, and for the first time in her life slept dreamlessly the entire way. December 24th, 2024. The alarm rang at 2:45 a.m. Hawaii time. Luna was wide awake instantly, no lingering attachment to sleep. She threw on a thick hoodie, leggings, hiking boots, grabbed water, and the egg sandwich she bought last night. Her rented white Jeep Wrangler convertible waited in the Grand Wailea lobby circle. 3:10 a.m. She started the winding drive up to the 10,023-foot summit of Helikala. The road was pitch black, only headlights in hundreds of other cars heading to the same sacred place. No one spoke. The radio played Israel Kamakawiwole's Somewhere Over the Rainbow softly. 5:51 a.m., the sun broke the horizon. 1,000 people stood silent on the edge of the massive volcanic crater, wind whipping freezing air through Luna's hair. The first light painted the sky burning orange, magenta, then gold. Clouds floated below like a cotton sea. Luna spread her arms wide and filled her lungs with the purest air she had ever breathed. No one calling her to cook Christmas breakfast, no one asking for wreath money. Just her and the universe. She whispered, Merry Christmas to me. Day 3 in Maui, she drove down to Ma'alaie, boarded a Pacific Whale Foundation boat to the sunken crescent crater of Molokini. The water was so clear she could see the bottom 80 feet down. She put on her mask and jumped. Fish swirled around her like living light, yellow and black butterfly fish, blue triggerfish, Picasso triggerfish in wild colors. A huge green sea turtle glided right past her, slow and ancient. Luna kicked and followed it for a while, tears mixing with salt water, the first time she cried from pure happiness. On the ride back, the guide served fresh poke bowls, diced ahi, rice, seaweed, scallions, shoyu peanut sauce. Luna sat alone at the bow, wind whipping her hair, eating slowly. She had never tasted anything so perfect. That night was Christmas Eve. The resort held a beach luau. Long tables overflowed with kalua pork, poi, grilled fish, pineapple with honey. Luna wore a red hibiscus print maxi dress, plumeria flower tucked behind her ear, and sat alone among hundreds of couples and families. When the dancers took the stage, the MC called, "Who wants to learn hula?" Luna raised her hand first. She stood in the circle, hips swaying to the drumbeat, hands telling the story of ocean and volcano in soft, graceful motions. She laughed aloud, laughed until her stomach hurt, laughed until tears came again. No one knew who she was. No one asked for money. No one said she had to give the best piece to her sister. She was Luna Garcia, and for the first time, that name was enough. Day 6, she flew to the Big Island, picked up her car in Kona, drove straight to Waikoloa. That afternoon, she took a doors-off helicopter tour over the active Kilauea crater. From the sky, she watched rivers of red lava pouring into the sea, steam exploding white where fire met water. The pilot shouted over the headset, "This is Pele creating new land." Luna laughed into the 120-mile-per-hour wind, hair whipping wildly. Yes, the goddess Pele was making new land, and so was she. Her last evening in Hawaii, she sat on the lanai of room 1824 at Hilton Waikoloa, watching the sun sink crimson into the Pacific. In front of her, a second Mai Tai, beside her, the phone that had been off for a week. She powered it on for the first time since leaving Chicago. Over 200 notifications. She opened iMessage, created a new group with the 3 previously blocked numbers, and typed one final message. The house was never yours. You lived there rent-free for 1,460 days, while I paid every bill. You stole $12,700 from me for a vacation I wasn't invited to. I'm done being your ATM. This is the last message you will ever receive from me. Goodbye. Sent. Then she blocked every number permanently again, blocked every possible platform. She removed the SIM card, dropped it into the leftover Mai Tai, and poured it into the sand. Done. Luna walked barefoot down to the beach. The luau fire still burned, drums still pounded. She stepped into the dancer's circle one last time and swayed to the final notes of Aloha Away. Salt wind carried the scent of plumeria and ocean. She closed her eyes and let every cell in her body sing one melody. I am free. I am enough. I am finally, completely, unapologetically mine. The sun vanished. Above her, the Hawaiian sky exploded with 1,000,000 stars. February 2025, Seattle welcomed Luna with drizzle and the thick scent of roasted coffee. She landed at SeaTac with 2 large suitcases, 1 carry-on, and $612,000 in her Ally bank account, clean, untouchable by anyone else. First week, she rented a 1-bedroom plus den on the 12th floor of an old brick building on Pike Street, Capitol Hill. Huge windows looked straight across Puget Sound to the snow-capped Olympic Range. She stood there a long time just to be sure it was real. Second Monday, she walked into the headquarters of Zephyr FinTech in South Lake Union wearing a brand new gray suit. VP of Financial Reporting, $215,000 plus stock options, $72,000 more than her old Chicago job. The final interviewer was Priya Malhotra, 41-year-old Indian CFO, divorced, disowned by her family for choosing career over arranged marriage. Priya looked Luna in the eye. "I know that look. You just burned the boats, didn't you?" Luna nodded. Priya grinned. "Welcome to the island of women who chose themselves. You'll fit right in." Priya became her official mentor. First Friday, she dragged Luna to rooftop happy hour at Babar, overlooking the entire city, and said one line Luna would never forget. "Guilt is a luxury you can no longer afford. Spend your energy on growth instead." Luna listened. Week 3, she found a therapist on Psychology Today, Dr. Marisol Reyes, Puerto Rican-American specialist in family enmeshments and generational trauma. First session, Luna cried for 40 straight minutes. Marisol handed her tissues and said softly, "You didn't abandon them. You stopped abandoning yourself." Every Wednesday at 6 p.m., she drove 2.5 hours up to Paradise on Mount Rainier and night hiked with the Seattle Mountaineers, headlamp glowing. The first time she stood at 10,000 feet with snow to her knees and negative 10-degree wind, she screamed into the void. "Yo soy libre!" The echo came back from the cliffs and she laughed until she cried. May, she adopted a 6-year-old Chihuahua Beagle mix from Seattle Humane, brown and white, floppy ears, sad eyes from being surrendered twice. She named him Taco because he stole tacos more than anything else. Taco slept curled against her every night, whimpering happily whenever she hugged him, as if he too had waited years to be chosen. Weekends, she and Taco ran Green Lake, climbed Mailbox Peak, car camped alone in Olympic National Park. She learned third-wave pour-over coffee, filled her balcony with cacti and succulents, hung a small wooden sign she carved herself. This home is paid for by Luna Garcia and no one else. She started a side hustle, Finanzas Sin Culpa, online workshops teaching Latina women money management and how to escape the familia primero aunque me mate trap. First class, 18 women, 6th class, 120. Extra $4,800 a month just from weekend Zooms. Priya promoted her to director after 9 months. New salary, $285K plus bonus. She bought a 2-bedroom condo on the 25th floor in Belltown overlooking the Space Needle. Closing day, she stood in the empty living room, holding the keys, let Taco run circles, then blasted Selena's Beady Beady Bomb Bomb and danced alone. That night, she opened an $1,800 bottle of champagne, poured 2 glasses, one for her, one on the floor for Taco to lick once. She raised her glass. To the girl who used to wash 47 dishes alone on Thanksgiving. You made it. Sometimes, on heavy rain Seattle nights, she still got texts from unknown numbers. "Luna, Mommy is sick, come home." "Luna, Dad had to borrow from loan sharks, help one last time." "Luna, you're evil for letting me suffer like this." She read, blocked, and kept living. Now, every Sunday morning, she and Taco sat on the balcony, her with coffee, him gnawing a beef bone, watching ferries cross Elliott Bay. She no longer checked the old family group chat because it no longer existed in her phone. Luna Garcia, 34. No husband, no children, no family debt. Only a small dog, a job she loved, a mentor who got it, a therapist who understood, and a city that held her with rain and mountains. The life she once only dreamed of now fit perfectly in the 2 hands she held tight. Tuesday, November 17th, 2025. Seattle rain poured sideways, turning Pike Street into a river. Luna came home soaked, holding a bag of empanadas from the new Argentine place, when she saw a small figure under the building awning, clutching an old worn coat. Thinner, gaunt, hair dyed brown now faded to muddy green, eyes ringed black. No Louis Vuitton, no glossy highlights, no golden child smile. Luna stopped 3 meters away. Taco growled softly from the carrier against her chest. Ashley looked up, voice raspy from cold. Sis, I've been looking for you almost 2 months. Hired a private investigator. Luna said nothing, just unlocked the building door. She didn't invite Ashley in, but didn't tell her to leave either. Ashley followed silently into the elevator. Inside the 25th floor condo, Luna hung her coat, set the empanadas on the counter, poured 2 glasses of water. Tacos circled Ashley's ankles, then lay down to watch. Ashley stood in the living room, eyes moving over framed photos of Luna summiting Rainier, the Finanza Sin Culpa banner on the wall, the workspace with dual monitors and a blooming red Christmas cactus. It's beautiful, sis. You're doing really well. Her voice shook. Luna sat on the sofa, arms crossed. What do you want, Ashley? Ashley bit her lip, tears already spilling. I'm sorry. The 2 words fell light as air but heavy as stone. Ashley collapsed to the floor in front of Luna, not daring to meet her eyes. For 9 months, I've lived with Mom and Dad in a 1-bedroom apartment in Joliet. They sleep in the bed, I sleep on the sofa bed. Mom cries every day, says you're evil, says you destroyed the family. Dad really does need a cane now, but every night when I come home from work, he asks, "Any word from Luna?" Ashley cried. I work cashier at Target, $17 an hour, hand over almost everything for rent and Dad's meds. Mom still buys stuff online, then says, I'll pay you back next week. Next week never comes. I can't even afford a $50 haircut. I get it now, sis. I get what it feels like to be drained every single day and not allowed to complain. Luna stayed silent, fingers tight around her water glass. Ashley looked up, eyes red. I used to think you were mean, stingy, selfish. Now I know what it feels like to be treated like an ATM. I lived your 33 years in just 9 months. She bowed her head and sobbed. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I know you can't right now. I just needed to say once, I'm sorry for everything I took from you, for thinking you owed us, for laughing when Mom said Luna has money anyway. I was wrong, completely wrong. The living room was quiet except for rain hammering the windows and Taco's soft breathing. Finally, Luna spoke, voice calm and firm. You're right. I can't forgive yet. Some wounds don't heal with one apology. Ashley nodded frantically, tears dripping onto the rug. But, Luna continued, I will say this once and only once. You can leave too. You're 31, healthy, college-educated, capable. You don't have to stay and pay a lifelong debt to our parents. I did it. You can too. Ashley looked up, a spark of hope in her eyes. Luna stood, took a printed packet from a drawer. This is the list I made last year. How to open your own bank account, how to find cheap rentals, how to block numbers, how to say no. I printed for my workshop students. Take it. If you decide to leave, I will send you $2,000 one time only for deposit. After that, you're on your own. I will never do it again. Ashley took the papers with shaking hands like they were a lifeline. Thank you, sis. Even if you never want to see me again, thank you. Luna nodded. I don't want to see you again, Ashley. This is the last time. Ashley stood, wiped her face with her sleeve. She walked to the door, paused, looked back at the bright, warm, clean apartment. You deserve everything you have now, she whispered. Luna didn't reply, just opened the door. Ashley stepped into the hallway. The door closed gently, but finally. Luna stood there a moment, then turned, scooped Taco into her arms, and kissed his head. Outside, the rain kept falling. Inside, Luna Garcia was still free. December 24, 2025. Exactly 1 year since Luna Garcia flew away from Chicago with a teal suitcase and a newly liberated heart. The Seattle sunset tonight was breathtaking. From the 27th floor balcony in Belltown, the sun melted into Puget Sound, painting sky and water and distant ferries blood red. Cold wind carried salt and pine from the Olympics. Luna stood there holding a mug of Kona coffee, wearing a camel cashmere sweater, long hair loose, no longer the rushed high bun of her old life. Taco slept curled at her feet. She was 35. Director of Financial Strategy at Zephyr FinTech, $360,000 plus six-figure bonuses. Finanza Sin Culpa now had over 4,200 paying members, side income topping $280,000 this year. She had just returned from Iceland, solo, watching green and purple auroras dance over Reykjavik, standing between ice and fire, feeling reborn. In the bright apartment behind her, there were no family photos on the walls. Only a huge canvas she bought in Honolulu, Goddess Pele standing in flowing red lava, arms wide, eyes fierce. Beneath it, the words she wrote herself in thick black marker. She burned everything that didn't serve her and became legend. Her phone buzzed. Text from Priya. "Merry Christmas, boss lady. Drinks tomorrow? My treat." Luna smiled and typed, "Deal. I'll bring the good tequila." Another text from Ashley, new number, first contact in almost a year. "Merry Christmas, sis. I'm in Austin now. Stable job, my own tiny place. I followed your list. Thank you. I won't bother you again." Luna read it, smiled softly, saved the contact simply as Ashley Austin. No reply, no need. No other messages from Chicago. She knew the family situation from distant cousins who still occasionally asked after her. Susan and Robert Garcia now lived in a one-bedroom in Romeoville, rent $1,120 a month, almost their entire Social Security and mom's part-time Walmart cashier income. The final Amex bill for $18,400, principal plus interest plus late fees, in Susan Garcia's name. They paid $250 a month. It would take 7 more years. Dad really did need the cane now. Mom no longer got red manicures or Black Friday hauls. They had no one left to call at midnight for money. Ashley had vanished one day. No one knew exactly when. Just that one morning her suitcase and a few old clothes were gone from the Joliet apartment. Luna felt no anger. She felt no pity. Only deep, clean peace. No guilt left at all. She set her coffee on the railing and breathed the icy Seattle air. Wind whipped her hair back like an embrace. Luna whispered to the sunset, to the sea, to herself. I finally chose me. Taco woke, nuzzled her ankle. She bent down, picked him up, kissed his wet nose. Below, the city began lighting up for Christmas. The Space Needle glowed green and red. Ferries sounded their long horns across the water. Inside, Norah Jones sang "Come Away With Me" softly. Luna closed her eyes and let the music and wind hold her. She once thought the American dream was the 3-bedroom house in Naperville, paying off the mortgage, fulfilling every family duty. Now she knew. The real American dream isn't the house. It's the moment you stop letting others live your life for free. Luna Sofia Garcia opened her eyes and looked straight into the last sliver of sunset disappearing into night. She had paid with 33 years of pain to learn that lesson, and she would never trade it back for anything. Merry Christmas, Luna. You made it home.